Diane has her quilted fabric cut 18 width, 22 inches long. She has a 20-inch zipper in hand, and she has cut her plastic 18 inches wide by 15 inches. One Diane is making, she has her 2-inch piece cut, and as you can see, she's putting on the zipper, sewing as close to the zipper as she possibly can, all the way to the end. The zipper is face down. And now that she has the one side sewed down, she's going to flip it over and she's going to top stitch. And she's going to top stitch close to that zipper so that the underside will stay up to give it some formals, to be a little tighter in there. Is that what I want to say, Dan? So she's now top stitching. And make sure your zipper works before you even get to this point, because sometimes you'll go through that and the zipper will not work. If you can see, she's kind of making sure the material is going over that zipper, so she's catching it for a second time to kind of encase that zipper. So now Diane, having the 2-inch piece with the zipper on it, she is taking what she wants to be her right sides and going to put the zipper side down, and then the fabric side is up. There again, right sides together, and you can see she's matching the sides of both pieces with that zipper. And then she'll stitch again just like she did in the previous, close to the zipper casing. And we'll show you here. And we'll be back in a second when she's got this all sewed. This is what the top of your bag is going to look like, with your zipper in between the two quilted pieces, and the sides are lined up. And let's see the back of that, Diane. And you see how nice that it lays down and has caught the piece in here, so it kind of just gives it a little more stability. Okay, on to the next step. Okay, so now Diane has got the plastic part on top of the fabric right side up. So she's going to sew a 1/4 inch on top the plastic, and she has now put on the Teflon foot. If you don't have a Teflon foot, I don't know if it's some kind of masking tape you can put under your regular foot to use. You'll have to try some different things. And she's going to sew the plastic side up a 1/4 inch from the sides. Okay, and the next step now is she's going to roll this over. Do you see how she's rolling it over? And then she's going to top stitch the plastic down. You see she's kind of got the plastic to the right side of her. And she's going to top stitch that down. It looks like she's sewing on the zipper, but she is not. She's sewing on the plastic only.
Let's not get that in there.
Okay, so Diane has the plastic on, And she's now going to roll it toward the front. And this is the part she has to, since she cut her plastic 15 inches, she is now going to line up the plastic. But to see how she rolled it over is to determine how long your plastic was going to be at this point. If you rolled it over more, you need the less plastic, but she's got hers right to where she needs it. And she's going to clip now, put clips on the side, because you really don't want to pin if you have paper clips, if you don't have these plastic clips. And she's going to line up the sides. She's going to line up the plastic. If your plastic is a little too long, you can go ahead and trim that. When you're done sewing, you'll sew a 1/4 inch seam on this. And make sure your zipper is open at this point. Make sure your zipper is opened at this point, or you will have a closed bag and won't be able to get into it. So she's being very careful. She's got everything lined up. And we'll show you that 1/4 inch seam in just a second here. Okay, so Diane now is putting a 1/4 inch seam. She has the plastic side up and putting a 1/4 inch seam, but her zipper is open, so she does not sew the zipper tab closed. That's so important. So she'll sew a 1/4 inch all the way around. And if you need to trim your plastic because it's a little off, or you need to trim your bag because it's a little off, after you get this sewing part done, that's when you want to do this. So if you didn't cut your plastic exactly to what you want, it's okay. Okay, Diane has turned now the corner. She stopped a 1/4 inch, sewed off at the angle, folded back like a typical quilt would be, and then she's heading the next direction, side 2. Diane is now sewing her 2.5 inch folded binding to the wrong side of the bag, and she did not start completely at the top, but she did leave fabric up there so she can turn in the sides and roll it inside. We are having a little bit of difficulty because the plastic is on the bottom, so if you experience that, that's kind of normal. Just kind of take it and try to lift it as much as you can. She's turning it to that angle and then sewing off.
I gotta jump in there, I gotta fix.
Okay, she's folding it over the fold over method. Then she starts at that 1/4 inch, and she's on side number 3. In finishing up the bag and how you're going to close off the top part so it's finished, Diane's going to take over from here.
Okay, I just trimmed it a little past this, you know, whatever, however you want, and then I'm going, okay. Then I'm just gonna get it to fold, and I'm probably gonna trim this because there's a lot of bulk in there that you don't want to have to work with. And make sure you don't cut your binding.
She has folded inside on that 2.5 inch binding, and she's wrapping it around the top edge.
And you see I'm a little off, so I'm gonna have to refold and maybe retrim a little bit because I don't want that to stick up at the end of the plastic slides. Okay. Okay.
Okay, she's folding those pieces to the inside there, trying to match up the top to the top of the bag, then folding it over to match in with the rest of the binding. Now when she gets ready to sew this, of course she will not want to start at the top because there's way too much bulk. So she'll probably have to put on most of her binding and then come back and sew the opposite direction to sew it, be able to sew it off and to be able to back stitch it so she has a secure seam in there. Okay, so we got that, Diane? Mm-hmm. Diane does have top stitch now, and this is the first top quilted because she could sew off all the way. Now we're going to come back to the other side and start from the other end down here, Diane. And from the amateurs of Diane Scoffsma and Marlene Gansey, you have now a finished project bag that you can put your projects in, your patterns in, whatever you have there. Okay, ladies, thank you. Goodbye.